I'd like to share with you a longer practice, embodied movement. You can consider it to be a moving meditation. So if you've got the time, the opportunity to spend a little time dedicated purely to yourself, well then stay with this video. It's very simple, very gentle movements and incorporating psychic gestures, mudra, and as always working with your breath, with your divine breath. So if you like the video, please like the video, subscribe if you're not already subscribing, and if you want to contribute to the channel. And so taking your time, can you find a comfortable seated position? Sitting as comfortably, sitting as effortlessly as you can. Once you find your seat, I want to use Prithivi or Earth Mudra. Being as I'm out in nature, already feel that connection. Earth Mudra, it brings about a sense of grounding and a connection with the earth, with the nature around us. So you curl the tips of your ring fingers to touch the tips of your thumbs. You then lightly rest the back of your hands onto your legs. And as you settle through your seat, feeling the fluid support of your spine, and give your shoulders a little bit of a shrug if that helps. And tonight's practice we're going to be, amongst other things, looking at areas where we hold on to tension. So that can be your shoulders, that can be in your neck, your jaw. So you find your seat, hands resting into Prithivi, into Earth Mudra. Time for you now to arrive. So with your eyes closed, or with your gaze lowered, or just gazing vacantly and into space. This now is your time. Time that you've dedicated to yourselves, without all of the usual distractions of our day-to-day life. Your practice isn't an exercise, it's certainly not a workout. Your practice is an experience, your experience. So with the focus of your mind, as delicately as you can, just simply resting with your breath. When you find your mind drifting, whenever you find yourself distracted, for these next few moments as we sit, you return your awareness, then back to the ebb, back to the flow of your own natural breath. And so, still with your eyes closed or with your gaze lowered, can you now rest the palms of your hands together in front of your chest, your hands resting in front of your heart space, your heart center, and bowing your head toward your hands, symbolically surrendering your head to your heart, yourself to your higher self. And then still with the palms of your hands resting together. If your eyes are closed, open your eyes. With palms resting together, can you interlace now your fingers and begin to extend your arms forwards. Still settling through your seat with your arms extending. Now gently your arms lifting, your side ribs expanding. Still space between your shoulders and your neck. To reach a little higher as you breathe in, reaching up and then a little over to your right, not too far. As you breathe out, we'll return to the upright on the inhalation, and then it's over to the left as you exhale, returning again to the upright position. If your neck allows, now lifting your gaze, opening your throat, breathing in, trailing your fingers through the air, releasing your hands down. So your practice very much a sensory experience. As you release your hands down, still seated as you are, we're going to take a very simple twist. So, feeling the support of your spine as you breathe in, now turning, twisting towards your right on the breath out. So your left hand can rest onto your right knee, your right hand, your right arm behind and to the mat, using your right arm to help support your spine. Notice your shoulders. I'm saying shoulders, one of the areas where we tend to hold on to tension, so softening your shoulders down, settling through your seat as you turn now and twist to the right, looking over your right shoulder. Breathe. And be present to all that arises as you practice, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, in whichever way you define your spirituality. And then with your arms low, we're going to move back to the forwards position, taking a breath in, and then it's the simple twist now to the other side. As you breathe out, right hand to left leg, left hand behind, and to the floor, settling through your seat, lengthening through your spine. Again, notice your shoulders, softening, relaxing your shoulders back and down, turning now, twisting, looking over your left shoulder. Breathe. And then with your arms low, returning to the forwards position. And we've been sitting now for some time, so if your legs are still crossed, uncross your legs. If your legs a little stretch out, in fact, take your feet a little further apart and just make some independent circles now with your ankles. So your postures, your asana practice, it doesn't need to be a very strong practice. For me, it goes with how I feel. And today's a very warm day, I'm not complaining, but I adjust my practice accordingly. And it's not just about the postures. Yoga's not acrobatics, it's not gymnastics. It's your connection with yourself and how you relate this connection with yourself, with the world and with the people around you. So the movement, your body, just one aspect. With your feet becoming still, give your knees a little massage. And then bend your knees, placing the soles of your feet to the mat. If you can, with the outer edges of your feet aligning with the outer edges of your mat, set your hands behind, fingers pointing forwards, and physically feeling a little bit more of an opening around your upper chest. You feel that lift to your breastbone, energetically opening into your heart space, your heart center. So keeping that lift to your breastbone, taking this next breath in, and then your knees to the right. And as you move your knees to the right, left sitting bones lifting. As you breathe out, you can turn to look over your left shoulder. We return our knees, our head to the upright as you inhale, and then it's knees to the left, right sitting bones lifting, looking over your right shoulder. Back to the upright position to breathe in, knees right as you look left. Breathe out. So enjoy the movement, upright position, inhale, to the left with your knees, to the right, turn your head, exhale, and again. But this time as you take your knees to the right, looking to the left, holding the twist, not holding your breath, softening a little into the shape. Your breastbone lifting, your knees lifting, and then your knees to the left as you turn now to look to the right. So again, you hold the twist, but not rigidly. Still breathing, still experiencing all that arises. And then returning your knees back to the upright position. With your knees to the upright, just walking your feet in a little so your feet are at about hip or hip socket width apart, and now lying back. As you lie back, physically you feel the contact, you feel the grounding between your body and your mat, between your body really and the earth. As I look up now, I can see, and I love this time of the year when you've got the sunshine filtering through the green from the leaves on the trees and truly bathing underneath this tree. I'm going to find some simple movements. So movement to your arms and to your shoulders. So just making sure that there is room to take both arms in a moment up past your head. With the palms of your hands facing uppermost, the back of your hands resting to the mat. After this next breath out, begin to lift your arms, and as you breathe in, a natural spiral happens to your arms, to your shoulders, as you encourage the back of your hands towards the mat, past your head. With the exhalation, it's the movement in reverse, that spiral, the back of your hands to the floor, to the mat beside you. So your arms are lifting as you breathe in, and then your arms lowering on the breath out. The next time you take your arms up past your head, still fingertips extending away from your shoulder sockets. You want to move into the second part of this practice, but we do so gradually. Arms reaching, arms extending as you breathe in, and then as you begin to lower your arms, with the exhalation at the same time lifting your hips, lifting your pelvis away from the mat. With the inhalation, lifting your arms, lowering your spine. Lowering your pelvis back to the mat, and then as you exhale, your arms lowering your hips, your pelvis, lifting. So guided by your breath, arms lifting, your bottom lowering each time you breathe in, your arms lowering your hips, your pelvis, lifting each time that you breathe out. So these last few rounds in your own time, and I'm not going to say anything for the next few rounds, so you immerse yourself in to the process of your practice. And the next time you come to lower your arms, lifting your hips, lifting your pelvis, holding then this position, but don't hold your breath. Maybe your hips can lift that little bit higher, softening as you do so around your glutes. And then vertebrae by vertebrae, returning your spine back, down and onto the mat. With your thighs, ankles, knees together, lift your feet from the mat, hold around your knees, make a few simple circles with your knees to massage your lower back. Making the circles in the opposite direction and not just internalising your awareness. Listen to the sounds that you can hear. I can hear myself hear the birds as they tweet, they sing in the trees. I can hear the gentle breeze moving through the leaves on the trees. It's all part of our connection with life. And then with your knees becoming still, so you rest the soles of your feet to the mat, and we're going to move into a twist next from this semi-supine position. So I'm going to turn to lie onto my left side so that you can see both knees bending. Now you may need, if there's one handy, something to support your head, a cushion, if that helps, under your head, so it's not awkward feeling for your neck. Extending both arms forwards, you can still see, and then you either stay with both arms forwards or your left hand, the bottom hand, just resting to the top knee, just helping to secure the position of your knees. And then we bring the movement to our right arm, right shoulder, and to the upper body. Start by reaching the fingertips of your right hand away from your shoulder socket, And then as you breathe in an arcing movement, fingertips towards the floor, right arm reaching up, right arm reaching a little over. So with the exhalation you return your right arm back and into view. So fingertips towards the floor, that arcing movement, sweeping your right arm up, your right arm a little over. As you exhale, returning your right arm back and into view. To hold the twist, the next time you take your right arm up, your right arm over, and if you can look up towards the ceiling or even turning to look a little more to your right, holding the twist, but without holding your breath. After this next breath in, returning your right arm so it moves back over, back into view on the breath out. And just take a resting breath or two. There's no rush. We always look to be productive even with our practice, when sometimes the true essence of our practice, the true essence of ourselves, more revealed when we are unproductive. So we're going to roll now to lie onto our right side. I'll change sides on the mat so that you can still see me. That's definitely not an evening to rush here. So luxuriating in this time dedicated to yourselves. Lie to your right side, knees bending, arms extending, either both arms forwards or your right hand securing the position of your left knee. Your left arm reaching forwards, that same arcing movement, left arm reaching up a little over. To breathe in, bring your left arm back on the breath out. So fingertips reaching away, reaching up, reaching over to inhale, and then moving your arm back on the exhalation. So again, a little bit of silence as you practice these last few rounds. And then the suggestion to hold the twist. So the next time you take your left arm up, you take your left arm over. And softening a little more into the shape. Breathe. Eventually to return your left arm back over and into view, just resting again for a moment or two onto your side. No rush. Find your way, eventually back and into a seated position. So a comfortable seated position. It doesn't need to be cross-legged. You can have legs extended. You can sit up onto a cushion, onto a block. You can even sit onto a chair for this next practice. So as you bring your body into balance, all we're going to do is keeping our left hand resting onto our left leg, hooking your right arm over. So instead we'll be looking a little towards where we hold on to tension, our necks, our jaw, one of those areas. And so you're not pulling your head, your neck over, just feel the weight of your right hand, your right arm. Feel the influence of gravity. So your right ear sinking towards your right shoulder, subtly adjusting the angle of your chin, so maintain that feeling of length. This is through the left side of your neck. Breathe. To then rest your right hand down, bring your head, your neck first to the upright position, hooking now your left arm over. So the weight of your left hand, your left arm, the influence of gravity, inviting your left ear towards your left shoulder. Again, just try adjusting the angle of your chin, optimum feelings, optimum sensations. To return Your left hand down, your head, neck and spine back into balance, palms uppermost, just give your shoulders a little shrug. Softening, settling your shoulders. Going to bring now a semicircular movement to our head and to our neck. So it's pretty self-explanatory, we can do this together. So just begin by leaning your right ear, as we've just practiced, towards your right shoulder, but then your chin towards your chest. Left ear to left shoulder, your chin back towards your chest, your right ear to your right shoulder. If you can, move with your breath. So as you breathe in, chin towards your chest, left ear to left shoulder. As you breathe out, chin towards your chest, right ear towards right shoulder. So by using your breath, it helps you to slow the movement down, and it keeps you maybe more involved with your practice. The tendency is for our minds to drift, our minds to wander, and that's perfectly natural. One of the functions of the mind is to think. But this isn't a time to work things through, to think or to reflect, because this is your time you allow yourselves to just simply be. The next time you bring your chin towards your chest, your breastbone lifting gently towards your chin. If your neck allows, holding this position. Breathe. And then bringing your chin back to parallel with the floor. As we did back at the start, bring the palms of your hands together, interlace your fingers, extend your arms forwards, lifting your arms, settling into your seat, reaching a little higher to breathe in. If you can, reaching up and a little behind. On the breath out, reach, extend, inhale, and then release. Release your arms down. If your legs are crossed, now uncross, release your legs, and we're going to move into an all fours position onto the mat. So resting your knees underneath your hips, setting your hands just forward from your shoulders, and I'm going to make a very simple and soothing circling movement. So leaning your right hip to the right, circling behind, your left hip to the left as you circle forwards, right hip to the right, circling behind, left hip to the left, circling forwards, and so on. So you don't need to hold your arms rigidly straight, you can bend your elbows so you find movement in your shoulders, movement in your spine. And then finding the movement in the opposite direction, left hip to the left, behind and to the right, your elbows bending, hips circling. Enjoy how it feels to move. And then with your hips, your spine back to the central position, keeping your right hand where it is, simply sliding your left hand underneath your right arm, bring your left shoulder and the left side of your head to rest to the mat. And finding the twist, feeling the twist in the upper thoracic part of your spine. It's not just about the physical. How do you feel as you make this shape? To then press into your right hand, releasing your left hand to the mat, and we go to the other side. So slide your right arm underneath your left arm, your right shoulder, the right side of your head to your mat. To then press into your left hand, release your right hand back forwards into the mat. Either to stay then in the all fours. This next part can be, sometimes it can be a little strong around your shoulders, so sensitive to your shoulders. We practice to release tension, not to introduce tension. So with your knees under your hips, your thighs vertical, walking, setting your hands forwards, and the feeling of your breastbone then sinking towards your mat. So you shouldn't feel overly intense around your shoulders. Still your breath flowing freely. And eventually we slide or walk our hands about halfway back. Can you bring your thighs, ankles, knees together if that's comfortable for you? You sink your bottom back towards your heels. Different options, either your arms by your sides and two, call it pose of child, balasana. Another alternative would be to make two fists, resting one fist on top of the other, but as much as we can, feeling your spine relaxing over your thighs, your shoulder blades sliding away from your spinal column. Breathe. Maybe a feeling of your breath moving through your back, your breath massaging the muscles of your back. To then set your hands forwards, rising back into an all fours position with a firm foundation. So space between your fingers, space between your thumbs, and with your toes tucked under, with your hands pressing down, just lifting your knees, but keeping your knees bent, your knees parallel, drawing your hips back away from your hands, so the emphasis not really to the back of your legs, more towards your shoulders and your upper chest. Bend your knees a little more, lift your bottom higher if you can. Relax the muscles of your neck. And with your hips drawing back so slowly, both heels now sinking back, tightening up a little more around your thighs. Eventually to rest, both knees down as you bring your knees back down and onto the mat. Move off your toes, taking your knees apart. Draw your bottom back towards your heels. So with your knees apart, your bottom back, two different options, either to stay with your arms forwards or a little more opening for around your shoulders would be to rest the palms of your hands together. Bend your elbows, pointing your fingers down the length of your spine. So your knees apart, your bottom back, either arms forwards, and your elbows bending, fingers pointing back down the length of your spine. And then releasing your arms forward, lifting your bottom away from your heels. Return your knees back underneath your hip sockets. And either then, if it's comfortable, just sitting back and onto your heels. I know for a lot of people kneeling isn't a comfortable option, so if that's the case, sitting in whichever way feels, again, right for you, but again with your head, neck and spine balanced. Resting your fingertips. The walnut tree there, I'll just move forwards a little, resting your fingertips onto your shoulders and feeling the lift to your breastbone, again without flaring your chest. Drawing your elbows in and towards each other, and with the breath in, so you lift your elbows out to the sides, back and down, to breathe out, so towards each other and lifting. Inhale, out to the sides, back and down, to breathe out. So your very own personal shoulder massage. Each time you lift your elbows, so you welcome your breath higher into your chest to explore the movement, to accentuate the movement, to enjoy the movement. Last few circles. And fingertips to your shoulders, 1 or 2 more circles to move in this direction, and then you change the direction. So elbows down, out to the sides, lifting to breathe in towards each other and back down on the breath out. So fingertips to your shoulders, elbows circling. Last few circles. And eventually we lower our elbows. And you can just rest for now, one hand on top of the other. Again, give your shoulders a little shrug. Feeling as you sit or as you kneel, the natural curvature of your spine. Feel your head now perfectly balanced on top of your neck. Breathe. And then from kneeling, if you are kneeling, sliding your hands forwards and onto the mat, and just a little stretch out through the back of the legs after kneeling. So as we've practiced already, hands forwards from your shoulders, toes tucked under, hands pressing down, knees lifting, draw your hips back. A bit of movement now if you want to. You can pedal through the back of your legs. And with your hips drawing back, now with both heels sinking back, tightening up around your thigh muscles. Effort only where your practice requires effort. And then with your knees moving back down to the mat, so we're going to sit in a moment onto the mat, and if you want to, we can move through a squat to find our way to sitting. So you take your knees apart, big toes in towards each other, draw your hips back, walk your hands back, and then, let me face towards you, you can take your hands behind, bring your bottom down, give your legs a little stretch out, finding your seat. So again, head, neck and spine balanced. I'm going to give ourselves again another little bit of in a way, a massage. Said back at the start, some of the areas in our body where we can hold on to tension can be our shoulders, our neck, our jawline, our facial muscles. So what I'd like you to do is you bring your chin in towards your chest. If you're not sure, just watch me for a moment, and then you're going to tap the back of your neck, but just like little raindrops falling onto the back of your neck with your chin towards your chest. So we can do this together, chin towards your chest, little raindrops falling onto the back of your neck, and even if you can reach towards your shoulders, so a little independent tippity-tappeting fingertips to the back of your neck. And now moving up towards the back of your head, you can bring your chin a little more parallel with the floor, and as lightly as you can, just tapping your scalp. And then moving towards your forehead, raindrops caressing the skin of your forehead, your temples, around your eyes, your cheekbones. And then as you move towards your jawline, you can be a little bit more active, so there's no tension to your jaw. And then moving back up, those little delicate tapping around your cheekbones, around your eyes, your forehead, tilting your chin back towards your chest, the back of your head, the back of your neck, and then release. Just resting one hand into the other hand, give your shoulders again a little shrug. Before we lie back, and to finish with a few rounds of the Sama-Vritti breathing ratio. It's the practice where you equalise the 4 parts of your breath, to breathe in for the count of 4, to hold your breath in for the count of 4, to exhale to the count of 4, to hold your breath out for the count of 4. So, we can do this together. After this next breath out, breathing in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. So you breathe in to the count of 4, you hold your breath in for the count of 4, breathing out to the count of 4, holding your breath out for the count of 4. So practicing these last few rounds, now in your own time, still your shoulders relaxed, still no tension to your facial muscles. The focus of your mind simply riding your breath. If you're still with the practice, complete one more full round. Your breath softening, your breath finding its own natural pattern. And then taking your time, you can release your hands, you can release your legs. And we're going to finish the practice just by lying back and down onto your mat. So taking your time, finding your way to lie onto your mat. Making any subtle adjustments, and after this evening's practice, particularly around your shoulders, so settling your shoulders, your shoulder blades, subtly adjusting the angle of your chin, that feeling of length to the back of your neck. Closing your eyes if you're comfortable to close your eyes. Still very much that connection with your senses. You feel the touch, you feel the contact between your body and your mat. The contact between your body and the earth. To sense, to feel the space around your body. Feeling the space beneath your body. Space behind your neck. Space in the small of your back. Space behind your knees. Space behind your ankles. There's no need to hold on. Absolutely no need to resist. So with each passing breath, releasing surrendering the weight of your body to the nurturing support of the earth. Your breath arising from stillness. Your breath returning back to stillness. Your thoughts arising from stillness. And without your involvement, your thoughts soon dissolving back to stillness. Into a stillness, into a calm, which is always there. No matter how sometimes busy, or even how stressful our days, our lives can become, there's that simple realization that there's an infinite ocean of calm, clarity, serenity in the space between each breath and in the stillness between each thought. So with the focus of your mind ever so delicately resting with your breath, allowing your whole body, allowing your whole being to release and relax. And gradually now drawing the focus of your mind back down and into your body, finding movement in your fingers, feeling movement in your toes, turning your head softly from side to side, and if you want to, taking your arms up past your head, enjoy the feeling of awakening your body. And then as you release your hands down, you can bend your knees, feet to the mat, to turn and for a moment to rest onto your side. There's no rush. And then from lying onto your side, if you can, still with your eyes closed, making your way back into a seated position. Then as you find your seat, eyes closed, the palms of your hands resting together, rubbing your palms together to create warmth. Then resting the palms of your hands over your closed eyes, opening your eyes into the warmth from your hands. Drawing your hands slowly down your face so light filters through your fingers. Namaste. And thank you.